What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and this is your Everton against Norwich match preview. A game I will be at, probably getting to the ground for about 12:30, and obviously we'll probably go for a drink before then. So, you want to join me or you want to catch up, have a chat, whatever, send me a message on Instagram or whatever, and I'm more than happy to meet up and meet anyone. In terms of the game, I think it's a game that Everton need to win. And I think that's abundantly obvious because of the last two fixtures. I think Everton have been poor both games. I think the QPR game defensively, we were all over the place. Attacking wise, we just didn't have enough, and we got bypassed in midfield in both games. Douglas Luiz and McGinn, or whoever came in for Villa when he got injured, I can't remember now, but whoever that was did a great job for Aston Villa bypassing our midfield last week. And against QPR, the two midfielders for them completely bypassed Tom Davies and Andre Gomez. And it's an issue that Everton have got this season. They just haven't got the depth, the strength to counter it. It's going to be a difficult game against a very ambitious and aggressive free-flowing Norwich side. Don't get me wrong, they haven't had the results and they're rooted to the bottom of the table, and long may that continue, obviously, after this game. But it's not the Norwich team that were promoted 2 years ago. That I think they do have a little bit more bite, a little bit more aggression where needed. I certainly think some of the additions they've made, and obviously they still have that sprinkling of quality with players like Max Aarons, Todd Cantwell, and Teemu Pukki. So this isn't an easy game for Everton, especially when you look at the squad that Everton have currently. You know, they've got no Richarlison, no Calvert-Lewin. Luca Dean, we don't know about his ankle, unless I missed a press conference today. I've been out all day, so if I have missed the press conference, I apologise. I haven't really had a chance to catch up with where the team is, but, it really wouldn't surprise me if we're playing four centre-halves across the back, because, we haven't strengthened the ball right back in. John Joe Kenny got tore a new arsehole against QPR, the championship side. He is a championship side right back. So you don't really want him up against the Todd Cantwell or whoever is playing for Norwich on that side. So you don't want that. On the left-hand side, you don't put Ben Godfrey on the right. He's not a right back. It's his worst position. And I won't criticise him for it, but it is definitely his worst position. So on the left-hand side would go Ben Godfrey. Your middle pairing would be Mina and Keane, and your right back would be Mason Holgate. It's not ideal. Begovic is back in goal again. There were some suspicions as to how many of those goals last week he could have saved against Villa. Certainly somebody made a point about the first goal. I personally thought it was harsh, but, opinions are opinions. But, he didn't save. He saved one penalty in 18. You don't fancy him to save those penalties. I'm not going to sit here and criticise Asmir Begovic, but he's not Jordan Pickford, who has looked better, albeit he has also had the occasional blip this season. You then go into midfield. Allen and Doucouré have to come back in for me, because Everton look shit without them. And even with them at times, if they don't have that support, we look poor. So that needs to be sorted, that needs to be rectified, and that needs to go again. You've got to play Andros Townsend and Damari Gray, in my opinion. And then obviously, depending on what you do up front, that's where it's really difficult, because to be brutally honest, Rondon looks miles away from Premier League striking capability. He didn't even look championship quality against QPR. And again, I'm not digging him out. This is a guy that I don't think had played football since May, and he literally has been signed and threw straight into it. I'm not expecting miracles from him. But this is where I do question why we don't potentially give our youth an opportunity, because, Ellis Sims had a full season at Blackpool. Yes, I understand he got injured, if I remember, and, he's had to recover. But, this is an opportunity for an Ellis Sims to get a game against a Norwich side that, wouldn't have been far off his level last season. Yes, he played in a league below them, but I could have saw Ellis Sims doing a very good job for a championship side last season. So, I'd have no qualms about starting with Ellis Sims and Rondon up front. and playing that 4-4-2. And I also think that's Everton's best position. And I also think it allows for Townsend and Amari Gray to do what they're very good at, which is beating a man and either delivering a ball or cutting inside and shooting. Because the centre-back pairing, the onus is on them to defend against two centre-forwards. So for me, I make that team selection, and I know it's bold, and I know people will say Ellis Sims isn't ready, and I get it, but we're never going to be ready if we don't see these kids and give them the opportunity. You know, look at Aston Villa, for example. They've started playing young Ramsey in midfield, and he looks a decent prospect. He wasn't given games last season. He was given the opportunity this season, and he appears to have took it. You know, that they've got another lad, Archer, who scored 2 goals in 4 games in the Carabao Cup starts. One was against Chelsea, so you know, you can't. It's got to get to a point where we start going, do you know what? Yes, these kids are young. Yes, they're inexperienced. And I've watched other fan channels. I've seen people on other fan channels saying, you know, if you want to win a game, you don't start with these kids. But how the fuck do you know? How do we know unless we give an Ellis Sims a go? You know, Anthony Gordon looked absolutely fantastic the weekend. Could we play Amari Gray as one of the two and start Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side? I have no qualms with any of this, but what I'm saying is I want to see more of our youth players who, you know, 2 or 3, 4 years ago were winning their league. I want to see them in the team. I want to see them doing something. I want to see them achieving, because they deserve it. These kids work their arse off in the Everton Academy for years or get bought in to achieve what? To end up playing for fucking Grimsby in League 2 or fucking in the Championship with Blackburn. And I'm not being disrespectful to any of these sides, but what I'm saying is they've came here to play for a Premier League outfit in Everton, and they're not given the chance to do it. And as soon as they're going to potentially make the grade, they're thrust away. And we've seen it time and time again. You know, we've seen it with Benny, I can't even say it, Benny. We've seen it with Luke Garbutt. We've seen it multiple times with these players. And actually, it's the players who have been given a chance that haven't impressed. You know, players like Tom Davies, there's absolutely no way Tom Davies should still be at our football club, because, yes, he was fantastic at times last season, but he's not a Premier League player, and I'm not digging him out for it. I'm not sitting here slagging him off as an individual. He's a really nice guy. He does loads of work for charity. He takes pictures with loads of fans, but he's just not good enough for where Everton are going to get, and that's through seeing him over 100 times in an Everton shirt. He's been given the chance. But yet you'll have Ellis Sims, or you'll have a Josh Bowler who was released this season. We signed him for 1.5 million about 3 or 4 years ago. He never made the grade. Never played in the first team, or got on the, you know, he might have got on the bench. He might have played a few minutes in the first team. I can't remember, but it's no notable opportunity for him. And I do think this game against Norwich is an opportunity where, no, don't play loads of kids. But if you do want to start an Ellis Sims against a Rondon in a 4-4-2, I think we've got the personnel in midfield, in Andre Gomez, not in him, in Andros Townsend, in Amari Gray, into Corey and Allen to cover that. So if he does make a mistake and he makes it high up the pitch, I'm not so worried of a Norwich side cutting through us. I'd rather our striker lose the ball than giving it to a Tom Davies or an Andre Gomez who just will not pass the ball forward, and we get spanked on the counter-attack because they've lost the ball. So it's key for me. It's key for me that we allow these kids to have a go, and I do think Norwich would be the perfect team for that. That is pretty much my match preview, because, you know, Norwich are going to come here and anything they get is a positive. Whereas Everton need a win. They've played 2 games now poorly. Some of the fans have already turned on Rafa Benitez, which I think's mad personally. But look, everyone again is entitled to their opinions, and I've seen people's opinions in the chat and the comments. Absolutely fine. On Twitter, I've seen people slagging off podcasts and all sorts of shit today. I just can't be asked to get involved in it. I don't need to get involved in bad talking and hatred towards people and players and all that shit. There is certain players at Everton Football Club that are not good enough, but unfortunately, we can't get rid of them. So we're going to have to make do with some of the players that we unfortunately have. And I'm still not going to sit here and criticise them for that. I do not think Iwobi is good enough. I do not think Tom Davies is good enough. I do not think Andre Gomez, John Joe Kenny are good enough. I've got borderline concerns about Michael Keane. I've got Luke Dean concerns because of this season's been so poor for him, but I trust he'll come good. But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of players at Everton Football Club at this moment of time that concern me, and that's without talking about Richarlison, who seems to be very stroppy at the moment, following the latest Instagram post, the penalty incident at Brighton, and the reaction to being substituted against Burnley. So, again, concerns there, but I don't have to sit here and slag them all off. I'm just saying they are concerns, and that's my opinion, and I don't think we as fans need it at the minute. I think we need to support each other, protect each other, and try and back each other. And tomorrow, if we beat Norwich, after 6 games, Everton have got 14 points, which was 1 more point than we had after 6 games last season, and we were top of the league after a 1-1 draw with Liverpool, or 2-2 draw. I can't remember the fucking score either. It's terrible. 1-1 draw at Calvert-Lewin, 85th minute. But we went and got spanked by Southampton. We went and lost to Man United at home after a game that Everton and I felt really confident we would win. This is different. Everton now have a game against Norwich that we should win. We've got a very tough away day at Man United, and look, I would not be surprised if a single Everton fan expects us to get even a point. But I'm going to look for the positives. I was very negative after the QPR game. My reaction was very blunt. But a lot of it needed to be said. And Everton just, at this moment in time, as a squad, aren't there. But that doesn't mean we can't be. It doesn't mean we haven't got the makings of it. And it doesn't mean we can't be the start of something special. Do I know if that's going to happen? Who knows? Do I trust the board to make it happen? To be quite honestly, no. I think the money that Mashiri has invested in this football club and given to certain individuals, like Steve Walsh, like Marcel Brands, who are meant to make the footballing decisions, the academy, the team choices, I think they've been poor most of the time. But we've had to go with it. You know, it is what it is. That is where Everton Football Club are. Mashiri spent 500 million. Yes, we've recouped some of it on players signing and whatever, but you know, it's still going to be a big loss this year, and 3 big losses in a row. It's not great for a Premier League side, albeit we're trying to fix ourselves. I very much feel like this is where, when you play FIFA and you try and get rid of as many players as you can to try and bring in 5 world-class or quality ones, and you pay over the odds for them. You know, it seems like a game of FIFA, Everton Football Club, and it's not great, it's not ideal, but I do understand where we are. So, yeah, it is what it is. Score prediction for tomorrow, I think Everton win 1-0. Not tomorrow, Saturday. I think Everton win 1-0. I think it's a very tight game, but we will see. Guys, if you've heard rumbling and noises in the background, that's my washing machine. I'm currently in Finley's room because he's in my bedroom. And, yeah, I'm leaving it there. Guys, have a good one. I'll see you soon. Keep smiling and up the fucking toffees. Peace.